if you didn't have the essentials on the door, what would happen?
Well, like I said, the environment, as soon as you come on, the egregore in the environment says, this is Geoff, this is where he is, this is what he's got, this is his arsenal, 95% of it's no good.
How did you find that out of interest?
Just by standing there and watching the raw aggression and watching the confrontation. And I knew immediately that what I'd got wouldn't work. It needed to be adapted, it needed to be reduced. And when I stopped trying to I used to watch videos of me fighting, in gangs. There was like gang fights and stuff, and I'd watch videos of me afterwards because it was all on CCTV, and I tried to say, that was a karate move, wasn't it? And I think that was a bit of our karate. And I sat with one of my black belts, and we were going, that was a block, that was it. And I looked at it afterwards, and I thought, I'm afraid to tell myself that what I've been taught won't work here. Yeah. And the moment I saw that, I was able to let go of it, and then I just said, okay, show me what works. And I reduced. I was a second or a third dan at the time, and I reduced everything I got to one punch.
I mean, it's a great metaphor for life.
Yeah,
if you think about how much...
it was so raw, Paul. It was so effective. I had to stop doing it. It was so effective.
Didn't Peter Constantine tell you, you don't hit people with that, do you?
Yeah, when I first met Peter Constantine, I met when Peter was doing a forward to my book. I met him on a service station up north. And it was in the car park, and he was showing me his double hit punch on the pads, and he's awesome. He's really an amazing guy. And he said, show me how you work. And he held the pad and hit it with the left hook, and he said, fucking hell, you don't hit people with that, do you? The problem was I was hitting everyone with it, but it was so effective. I got it down to a fine art that you're kind of knocking everybody out. So in and of itself, that wouldn't be worth telling you, because I'm not interested in violence. But the overall thing of it was amazing. Because it was saying the environment will, if you listen to it will strip everything away, so all you have left is the raw essential. Mm-hmm. And to get that, you have to practice. And I'll tell you a little story. I'll tell you a metaphysical story about this. I was sitting, Costa's been closed, as you know, so I used to just sit outside in the wind and the rain with my book and sit and read with a coffee. And one day, this looked like a fly, but when on examination afterwards, I realised it was something else. A fly landed on my page as I was reading this book, and I looked at this fly and I thought, "Fucking hell, this fly is amazing!" It was just like I was being blown around by this wind, and this fly was negotiating it like it was nothing. But when I looked at it, it had nothing on it other than the raw essential. It had nothing on it but what it needed. It flew over, it landed on my page right above 3 words: practice. And I looked at it and I knew it was a messenger. I knew it was an angelic. Anything winged is angelic. And I could see it wasn't a fly, it was a being of some sort. I know that sounds very weird, but I looked at it and I just said, thank you, I appreciate it. And then I watched it fly into the wind, and it was like it was nothing. I thought, the reason this fly is so proficient and able to manage these tremendous forces is because it has nothing on it that is extraneous, nothing at all. It was saying to me, get rid of everything in your life that's extraneous. If it doesn't serve your purpose to serve God, get rid of it. And it was so inspiring. But that was a fly. But I see God in everything. So the idea on the door was that immediately the environment said, this is what works. The moment I saw that's what worked, that's what I started to practice. That's what I started to teach. That's what I started to perfect. And then later on I was able to let go of the need to hit people. And I started to think, okay, how can I use that same lesson, that same rawness in my business, in my relationships, in my life, with my children? How can I use that same lesson?
In your health?
With my health, of course.
Everything.
So that's why I ended up becoming a vegan. I got rid of everything in my life that was excessive. I started looking at my relationship with my wife and thought, the raw essential with this is for me to serve her with no expectations. And when I did that, everything I wanted came. With my business, all I thought about was my customer. I never thought about myself. I just would think, what does my customer need? How can I serve them?
I think life throws, modern life, it attaches constantly.
Yeah.
It's always trying to attach things to you.
Yeah.
Through consumerism, through diet, everything is excess. We've got
Yeah.